Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Very Biased Opinions.
And welcome to Euro 2020. We are going to look at every team group by group and give our predictions for the first round of fixtures. And now, without gilding the lily, it's time to start with Group A.
So we start with Group A, as Thomas just mentioned, and as this tournament is being played all across Europe with multiple hosts, Group A is being played in Rome and Baku. For some reason, that powerhouse Azerbaijan get to be a host nation. But as it is in Rome, it means it is going to be home advantage for the first team we are going to talk about. Notably and inexplicably, they were missing from the World Cup in 2006 and 18. It's great to have them back. It's great to have the Azzuri back, one of the big draws in football. Tom, Italy, I think they're going to do pretty well here.
Yeah, I think it's hard to look past Italy in this group, so obviously we're going to start with them. But they're a really good side. It was a shock when they didn't qualify for the World Cup, and I think that was a huge moment for them as for their FA and as a footballing nation to look at it and go, holy shit, are we as bad as England? And the answer to that was yes, they are. But they've come back with disgraced former Manchester City manager Roberto Mancini. I can't believe they're stuck with him, but no, he's a quality manager. They won their qualifying group within a perfect 10 wins out of 10, so they're coming in fantastic form. Getting qualified the last World Cup, as we said, but this squad has tons of depth. But I think when you look at this team, ever since Pirlo, they are defined by a playmaker center mid, and no more so this year again with Jorginho and his ability to ping a ball over the pitch. He's going to be key to them. They've got Donnarumma in goal, who was the heir apparent to Buffon for years and has taken the mantle pretty well. And then they've got their 375-year-old centre back player, Chiellini and Bonucci. I mean, God, how long have these guys been at centre back for fucking Italy? Like, it's unbelievable. But they know what they're doing. They're going to make it incredibly hard to beat this side. They've got Ciro Immobile, who's been one of the best strikers in Europe for like the last 3 or 4 years up front. He's flanked, we expect, by Chiesa and Insigne. Insigne, another one of those players that on his day can win a game by himself. And this team is insanely good through the middle. I mean, if you're just talking about the spine, Chiellini, Bonucci, Donnarumma, Jorginho, and Immobile, they're going to be a really tough team to beat, Ian.
Absolutely, yeah. And a lot of what Mancini's done is almost kind of remove that kind of stench and bad feeling of how they didn't qualify, and he's brought a lot of like the good feeling back into this Italian national side, along with like the usual drive and determination they have. I mean, they're usually a big tournament kind of team, aren't they? They go deep in so many of the tournaments we've watched over the years. I'm also looking forward to see Sensi play. He's been great for Inter Milan, and Verratti is a player I always like as well. So look, I mean, they're the box office team in this group, and we expect them to be the ones winning it. But they are not alone in Group A, Thomas, and we will move on to the second side we are going to talk about, and it's a side that I actually think could do pretty well as well. It is Turkey.
Turkey look absolutely fantastic. Although the last time I remember seeing this team was the 2002 World Cup semi-finals.
Well, if you had sort of been in like a cryogenic state, then that's pretty good. Yes. Because it's the same manager that was in charge. Senol Gunes has come back, and they are a very dangerous side, but they can be very, very inconsistent. Expect them to change their formation up to who they play, but through like the spine of the side is like that a trio of Lille players who did really well and only lost 3 games in the French league. You got Celik at the back, Yazici in midfield. And before I go any further, I am going to butcher all of these names. So if I say it wrong, tell me down in the comments, because I'm bound to get them all wrong. But up front, Yilmaz has been outstanding for Lille. He's been solid as a rock for them. So expect them to have a lot of firepower. Soyuncu is a great centre-back as well. We've seen him week in, week out for Leicester do really well. It's a good Turkey side that could cause a number of problems, and they're kind of a side you want to avoid if they do get through into the knockout phase.
They strike me as the sort of side that on their day can beat anybody like 4-0, and all 4 goals come in like the opening 30 minutes. Like, they do tend to come out of the traps flying.
I would say they've got that kind of on both sides though. That they could quite easily like be winning a game and then inexplicably give away like 3 penalties in the final 10 minutes and have 2 men sent off. Calhanoglu has been really good for AC Milan as well, so a great playmaker to play in behind Yilmaz. They've certainly got a lot of talent in this squad, and I'm excited to see them play.
Yeah, they're an insanely talented side, and they're going to make this group very difficult. But Ian, there are other teams in this group that we need to cover.
I heard there are two other teams, Thomas. Two others.
I believe your facts are correct there. And the next one we'll be looking at is Switzerland, or as I like to call them, SwitzerFrance. And yet again, they're another international tournament. And I suppose we can just assume that they will magically make their way to a quarterfinal, because that's what they do in every international tournament.
Yeah, you always see with Switzerland, and I'm mainly putting this on the heads of Xhaka and Shaquiri, always seem to play their best football for the national side.
Oh, God, yeah.
Going to be very, very non-existent when we see them in club football, but they always turn it on when they play for Switzerland. And again, like Turkey, they're not probably going to be as exciting as Turkey, but they're going to be very solid. They're going to be hard to beat. They play a lot of 3-4-3, which you'll see a lot of sides do in this tournament as well. So they'll have a lot of emphasis on the wide players in midfield, and Babu and Rodriguez to try and provide them the width to get it up to those front three. There's certainly goals in the side. Serovic and Bolo, Shaquiri, very, very good players as well. And it looks a well-balanced side, I would say, as well. Vladimir Petkovic is the man in charge. And they qualified without much problem at all, but also they did get to the Nations League semi-finals as well, which a lot of people probably wouldn't have expected at the start of that tournament last time round. I haven't really got too much more to add on the Swiss, other than the fact is for me, it's a toss of a coin between them and Turkey about who comes second.
Yeah, every time we see this, not only this Swiss team play, but every Swiss team play, they're hard to break down. They always have a good goalkeeper. Defensively, they're strong. They maintain their shape well. And you're not joking. I mean, Xhaka will score all his 30-meter goals in this game. Yeah, Shaquiri will beat like 15 people per match.
Shaquiri will probably have another bicycle kick from 30 yards. But yeah, on the goalkeeper front, Jan Sommer, very, very good goalkeeper for Mönchengladbach for many. Yeah, and probably one of the top goalies in the Bundesliga, I would say.
I think that makes him one of the top goalkeepers in the world. So he should perform well here. But Ian, it's time to talk about the side formerly managed by Ryan Giggs. It's time to talk about Wales.
Before we talk about Wales, Tom, I would like to mention about how Ryan Giggs must have absolutely bastardized his Manchester United legacy. And as a Manchester United lover and as a guy who would have ripped his old Scottie Pippen posters down to put up posters of Giggs, how do you feel about the sex pest?
I refuse to answer that question.
Guilty till proven innocent in the eyes of very biased opinions. Lock him away.
Christ. Moving on, the biggest surprise in this squad, outside of the fact that it's not Ryan Giggs, it's Robert Page who's coaching them or managing them, is the omission of Hal Robson-Kanu. He of the most magic goal I think Wales had scored in the last 20 years, where he beat half a team with that crazy pullback and finish. But this is a side that could really throw a wrench in this tournament, all right? So Gareth Bale, we know he wasn't on incredible form coming into this tournament, but he's Gareth Bale. If he wants to, he can run and score a hat-trick. I don't think anyone has ever questioned that. Even when he was playing badly at Spurs, you were looking at being like, but we know you can do it. Like, it's not even hard for you. You're faster than everyone else out there, and you can ping us. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. And he's a bit like Xhaka and Shaquiri. Loves playing for Wales. His best performances are for Wales. But he plays in this incredible team that all care more about each other than they do themselves. It is nuts to watch this side when they play. They're the definition of better than the sum of their parts, but some of those parts are incredible. Dan James, we've seen him do it at Man United a couple times this season. He can be unplayable when he chooses to. Equally, if you blow on him hard enough, he does just go off with the wind. So, that will be the general way to defend him. But Aaron Ramsey, Juventus' own Aaron Ramsey, who left and has been pretty damn good for Juventus over the last couple of years. Then there's Harry Wilson. He's a fantastic player at the back. They got Meffin, Roden, Davies. They are an incredibly hard side to beat, and they have match winners through the spine of it. And I think they're going to be a really tough side to play. They may not get through this group, but they may well end up passing through.
Tyler Roberts is another one from Leeds. He's had a good season too. Could be a difference maker up there. Kiefer Moore, I know he's in the Championship, but he's done well for Cardiff this season too. But I think that goal against Arsenal in the FA Cup should be expunged from the record books. They should never ever show it again because of, I think Giggs is Shocking.
So that's us done.
No, I'm not done yet. I just want to say one thing about Wales. I'm just hang on that thing. Yeah, you absolutely hit the nail on the head. With a lot of sides, they will go into it with the expectation and the fear of failure. You'll get none of that from Wales. It will just be like a joy to be there. Even if they crash and burn and do well in the groups, I don't think they'll come home to any kind of like bad reception from the fans. And I think the players will go out with the freedom and enjoyment that you saw from them in 2016, really.
Yeah, I think they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. And with Group A covered, we move into prediction land. Ian, the first fixture, 11th of June, Turkey versus Italy.
How dare you not spend a minute basking in the glory of the war chart I presented, Thomas, because it is not simply predictions when we do championships. Me and Thomas go to war, and it is emphasised in the chart that I knocked up, that probably a child could knock up in 10 minutes. It's a lot better. But anyway, this is what we have with all the bells and whistles. Turkey versus Italy. Italy have been the 2-0 kings of late. If you look back at their previous scores, it seems to be they've channeled their inner Chelsea. So that is what I'm going to pick here. Turkey 0, Italy 2.
Well, I'm hurt because you quite literally predicted the exact score that I was going to predict, Ian Allen. What is wrong with you? Why have you done this to me? Right. I've got to come up with something else to say, which is frustrating because I really was going to go 2-0. So, Turkey 1, Italy 2.
Even though he says without stalling for time or gilding the lily, he is stalling for time and gilding the lily. But Wales versus Switzerland. After that opening game, Thomas, the opening gambit, we roll on to the 12th of June. It's Wales versus the Swiss. What do you see? Do you see Ryan Giggs, Sex Pests, his men causing an upset?
I actually do, but that's also because I've never watched an international tournament where I thought Switzerland could win a single match and they've gone through. So I will continue to be a fool and predict a 2-1 Wales victory. Apparently, I believe in it so much I've changed the font size to prove how much I care.
I don't think you need to comment on that. I think that comes down to the brilliance of how I've made this Google Excel doc or whatever it is. With everything has multiple formats and fonts and everything. So I'm going to go the opposite. I think it's going to be, although I could easily see it being a 1-1 draw, I think the Swiss will win. I think it's going to be a 2-1 win for Switzerland.
Well, there you have it. Group 1 is covered. The first round is covered. All I need to do is quickly thank our Patreon subscribers of Robert Allen, Matthew Bowden, and PJ Simpson, and everyone else who supports us on Patreon. Please check the screen, look below. Our details are there. But at the bare minimum, please smash the like button, hit subscribe, and comment on your thoughts of Group A below.
Not much more to add from me. We're going to be back with all the other groups, so stick with us. Give this video a like, and we'll see you for Group B.